Good day, and welcome to Shop Talk. This is Lila Jones and my guest co-host, Miss Natalie Small Johnson.
Hello, hello.
Well, it's again nice to have you, Natalie.
It's nice to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for being here on today. On Shop Talk today, we're going to be talking about domestic violence. What we want to do, we just want anyone that is going through domestic violence, or anyone that is even the abuser. We want them to get help. This month here is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But I would say that any day, any month, is Domestic Violence Awareness.
That's correct.
Because we want to be we want the community to be aware that this, domestic violence, it touched so many people internationally. It has nothing to do with your status economically, educational wise.
That's
it has
correct.
nothing to do with that. It touched so many families all over the world. It is touching someone, right now. Right now, someone is going through it. Someone has been a victim of it. Someone is victimizing someone of it. Families go through, a lot with domestic violence. So, tell me, and again, you are from Bent but Not Broken.
Yes,
Broken,
yes.
that is your organization.
Yes.
And, so even with that, you will have people to come see you, call your call your organization, and that has been through domestic
That's
violence.
correct.
So tell me, have you ever experienced anyone at any time calling you because they have been or going through or trying to get out of a domestic violence situation?
I've had several situations that have occurred, and the thing about domestic violence is just because you are unaware that it's domestic violence does not make it not domestic violence.
Yes.
Because that's how you grew up, or that's what you think is normal. It is not normal. Hitting is not normal. Hitting your spouse, and it's just not about physical abuse. It's about emotional abuse and mental abuse. That is not normal, and that it needs to be addressed, and it needs help. I've had a friend that we were just sitting around talking, and she said that she did not know that if a man did not hit her, that meant he did not love her. And I had to explain to her that's not what love is. Love does not hurt.
No, that is correct.
But she said that's all she had ever seen before, so that was her norm. And it took friends like me and you and Bent but Not Broken to tell her that's not the correct way of living, but not judge her for not knowing, because it's some things we don't all know everything.
That
And
is
if that's how
exactly
we
right.
grew up, that's all we know.
Right. It's like a learned behavior.
It is. It most
Learned
definitely is a
behavior.
learned
Yes.
behavior.
Yes. And once you have seen maybe your grandmother, your auntie, or your mother go through this here and accept it, you think it's okay.
You think it's acceptable.
Right. And especially when they stay in the relationship, you almost think that, they get angry or they get mad, but they love each other. And so you'll go and, someone else will go and follow the same same thing, thinking that this is love. But no, again, as you said, it isn't love. It isn't love by any means. Domestic violence is a person that the abuser themselves. They, number one, let's be aware and let's be clear that they have a problem.
Most definitely they have a problem.
They have an anger problem. Sometimes they have a self-esteem problem, self-assurance problem. There is a problem, and the problem could have very well been there since they were a child.
That's correct.
Because a person that is an abuser, they like control.
That's right.
They like dictatorship. So so either you're going to be abusive with your words, you're going to be or with your hands, because you like that control. And as you said, some people think that this is love, So he's very jealous of me. She's very jealous of me, because we do want to be clear that domestic violence isn't just a woman. It isn't just a woman of poor education or economically poor. it does hit everyone.
That's correct.
It affects everyone.
And to be honest, it's just not a man hitting a woman. It can be vice versa. It can be a woman hitting a man.
Right.
Anytime you're in a relationship and you do not keep your hands to yourself, or you do not know how to communicate appropriately,
yes,
that's a form of abuse.
Yes. And you know, and we are saying man and woman, but any relationship, any significant other.
That's correct. That's correct.
You know, rather it's
two women or two men. It's that's a relationship.
Homosexuality, gay,
lesbianism,
right? Whatever. You know, abuse is abuse.
It's abuse.
Abuse is abuse, and it is.
And it should not be tolerated.
It should not be tolerated.
And what I've noticed is it, like you said, it's generational.
Yes.
And then you have some women that just find themselves, they've never witnessed it before, so they don't have the roadmap of how to get out of it. They become embarrassed, so they don't tell anybody, and they start making up stories of how they received their injuries, and they don't get help because they're embarrassed by it. They're embarrassed that they're in that situation and cannot get out, or they think they cannot get out, but they can get out.
Now, a lot of times the women will actually protect the man.
Yes, they will.
They will protect him because they truly do love him. I had someone to tell me that domestic violence, this is the way that it goes. It goes love, fear, and then survival. And the person said to me that when it get to that survival mode, it could become fatal. Someone could possibly get hurt.
That's correct.
And from my understanding, this is something that you have to almost escape. So there must be a plan. You know, if you're out there and you really do want help, please allow us to give you the hotline for domestic violence, and that is 1-800-799-7233. Again, that is 1-800-799-7233, because we want you all to get the help. If you are in this lifestyle, we do want you all to get the help, and that's what, you know, we are here to make you all aware that you can get the help. And you can be protected all at the same time.
That's correct. That's correct.
And that is why they have the shelters, you know.
That's correct. It's many steps that they can take. They just don't say, okay, well, you just have to get out of it alone. That's not. It's just a step-by-step process.
Yes.
You get into safety because safety is first.
Yes. Safety
is most definitely primary. And once you get safe, then we can work on the emotional abuse, the physical abuse.
Yes.
How are you able to monetarily take care of yourself and your kids? Because all of that goes hand in hand. We just can't get you somewhere and say we're going to give you emotional support, but no monetary support.
Now let me ask you this here. Sometimes, do you believe that people stay in it because they have that financial, that monetary support?
I do.
Think that okay,
and
they feel like they have nowhere to go, or they feel like this person is taking care of me, but he's the person's taking care of you, but they're destroying you at the same time,
and it's not worth it,
or not really taking care of you, but
financially supporting you.
Yes, financially supporting you.
And sometimes we don't want to be seen as, here we go again, a failure.
Right.
We are more concerned about being a failure or what people are going to think about us. And it's not even about what people think about you, because people going to think whatever they want to think anyway.
That is correct. And I guess sometimes you do get into those relationships because you sort of think that you're a failure. You think that you're not worthy to be loved. And or you know, you're not attractive enough. Although we know beautiful women, beautiful people that have, you know, who are physically beautiful that have been in an abusive relationship.
That's correct.
So so that let you know it has nothing to really do with you. It has a lot to do with the abuser. And I also noticed that sometimes, you know, women get out of one relationship,
right, in another one.
So do they gravitate to a person like that? What are they looking for?
You know, it's weird because you would think that after you went through it one time, you would not want to go through it again. But it becomes their norm. That's their safe place. It sounds so weird, but that's what they know. So that's all that they know.
Wow.
So that's what's safe to them, because I guess they think like, well, it can't get worse, or I can predict what's going on the next time, or I know how to handle it a little bit better. But it's very unsafe.
It is certainly unsafe, because the other thing, it can become fatal. It is unsafe for you and your children. It is just just something that will really destroy your life.
It will,
if you don't escape from it. So again, we're going to continue to reiterate this telephone number, because if you're out there and you're going through this here, we do want you all to reach out for help. So again, the number with the domestic violence is 1-800-799-7233. So if you're out there and you feel like you cannot get out, and then there are local shelters, or I don't know very much about. Can you contact your
well, once you call the hotline, they will set you up with all that. I mean, they just want to secure your safety at first. Even if they have to come get you, if they have to send you a cab or Uber, I've known them to actually send people out there to get you immediately. Even if they have to call 911 for you, whatever it takes, they will remove you from that situation. Whether they have to wait until someone goes to work, whether your significant other goes to work, however they need to do it.
Now, in some cases, now you whenever you're not being very honest about what you're going through, and you get people involved in your relationship, that third party can get hurt. Really,
that's correct.
So do you want to stay in it, or do you want to get out of it?
That's correct.
And you have to make that decision
yourself.
You have to make that decision yourself. Is your life important enough to you? And whatever you have to do, self-help classes, you can go online, you can do it from your telephone.
That's correct.
Whatever you need to do, and that is why you have bent but not broken.
That's correct.
We
have therapists that are members.
Yes.
Also, we have
there are members of the organization bent but
that
not
broken. That are
and
therapists.
Again, we must say this here again. If you've been through an abusive relationship, of course you feel bent, but you're not broken. You can get out of it.
You can.
And we're just reaching out to the community. We want you all to know that this is nothing that you have to stay in. Absolutely nothing that you have to stay in. There's a way out. There is a way out. And we just hoping that you will think enough of yourself, think enough of your family, and think of enough of life to come out of it.
And one thing I can say is that your home life should be peaceful.
Yes.
No one should ever be scared to go home. No one should ever be scared like you were walking on eggshells at home. That's not healthy. Your home should be the one place that you can have peace.
Now, let me ask you this here. Wouldn't you say that maybe there are not signs. Maybe I think that there are signs, but people, they still go into the relationship thinking that they could change a person. And I absolutely do not believe that you can change a person. Only if they want to change. Right. And that person that is an abuser, they may not see anything wrong with themselves. They may
especially if it's their norm.
It is their norm, and it could have also very well been the way that
they were raised.
So this is learned behavior.
That's correct.
I saw my father do it, and that was the only way that we brought peace into the home is to wreck the home. And so again, that person, the abuser themselves, they also need to get help.
Most definitely need to get help, because they can end up getting hurt themselves, because everybody won't tolerate it.
That is exactly right. Yeah, you're exactly right. Having a low tolerance for or survival, like the person told me, when we get into that survival mode, it can become fatal. Someone is going to get hurt, and it does not necessarily mean the victim.
Right.
The one that has been the victim the entire time. It does not mean that. Now, I've known of cases where people really did get hurt. They were just tired of being the victim.
That's correct.
And so But we don't want either to get hurt. What we do want is
It's
for
for
people
them to get help.
to get help, not hurt, but get help. Because they're already hurting, so we want them to get help. And again, that number for that hotline number for domestic violence is 1-800-799-7233. This is Shop Talk, and we have a compassion for people in general, and we just like to see you all do well, get out of this abusive relationship, and just know that there's help out there for you. There is help out there for you, and to love yourself, because you are a beautiful person and you are worthy to be loved. So,
that's correct.
We just want to share that with you. So what other experiences that you've seen people go through?
I've seen people eyes knocked out. I've seen people teeth knocked out. I've seen children been hurt in the middle of it, like either trying to break them up or they just happen to be in a situation. I've seen people run over by cars. I'm pretty sure we've all seen it on TV where somebody got ran over by a car. It's just so, and it goes on and on and on. In fact, you can hurt innocent bystanders. Innocent bystanders can be hurt from trying to help or just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's why it's so imperative that both parties get help.
Yes.
So for one, whoever's being victimized, they know this is wrong and they can watch for the signs so it won't happen again. And whoever is doing what they should not be doing, you can get help so they won't hurt anybody else, because we all know hurt people.
Yes. So the abuser themselves, again, I like to say that they also need to be helped, because, as we had already mentioned that, they've seen this. It is a learned behavior, and they're hurting somewhere. And sometimes people that are the abuser, they're like, well, why do you love me? They're angry with someone because they love them. And, that's some deep hurt. That is some deep hurt. But there are psychologists out there, therapists,
psychiatrists, whatever you need help doing.
Your pastor, whatever you need.
And that's good too, your pastor too, because your spiritual leader should be able to direct you in the right situation and not only just give you a phone number, but your spiritual leader should have a plan for those kinds of incidents.
Yes.
Like they have a plan for the homeless and the sick and the shut in.
Yes.
They have to have a plan for the domestic violence situations as well.
Yeah, because it is real.
Right.
It is real.
That's correct.
Yes. Well, but it isn't too late. It isn't too late. Your life isn't over. There's just so many things that you can do to educate yourself and to educate yourself about yourself.
That's correct.
That is important to, that's something that my mother taught me. She said it's important to learn yourself, to know yourself.
It sure is.
Because she said to me that, most people get to know everyone else.
But themselves.
Their circle, their teachers, their church members, their pastor. But it is so important to get to know yourself. If you know yourself and understand yourself and begin to love yourself, and you will also know what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate.
Right, and what you should and should not tolerate.
What you should and should
That's
not
correct.
tolerate. Yes. And to know that, I should be honored as just as a human being. I should be honored. So again, we want you all to get that help, to reach out there and get the help that it's out there for you. It is out there for you. You're not alone. You feel alone. Your mind tell you that you're alone and you can't get any help and you're not worthy of help. And, this is just how it's going to be, but not necessarily. That is not the truth. It's just a saying,
It's just your mind playing tricks on you. It's a figment of your imagination.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. I just will hope that that it will just end, because it's going on right now as we speak. As we speak, it is going on right now, and it is absolutely sad that anyone is going through this here. It is really sad, and you don't know how they got there.
Right, but we do know how to get them out of it.
We do know how to get them out, and we thank goodness for bent but not broken.
Yes.
We're very thankful and appreciative of the shelters we are very appreciative of even our police and sheriff department. We
very instrumental.
Right, exactly right. So we don't want to shun those people when they're trying to help us. We want to embrace that help.
And then when they go to the magistrate's office, they need to be upfront. They
Yes.
don't need to get back down there and start reneging or start trying to act like the situation really didn't happen that way. They need to be honest, upfront and honest, so they can get help.
Now, and I not to agree, but I still understand
Yes.
that when the fear set in,
Yes.
when the fear come in, you're thinking, I'm here, I made it this far,
Yes.
but I really don't want to do this.
Right.
And not only the fear, as the person told me, when the love set in.
Yes.
So it isn't that people are so weak that they don't want to do something about it, but they really do love this person, and they also really do fear this person.
That's correct. And one thing about domestic violence of any abuse of any nature, usually abuse comes from being beat down.
Yes.
Once they can beat you down enough, they can pretty much make you believe anything, or have you thinking that you're worthless, you don't count, nobody cares, your self-esteem is shot. So at that point, you don't even know who you love because you no longer even know yourself to love yourself.
Yes.
So what you may think is love, most definitely is not. It's just manipulation.
Yes. Earlier today, someone was talking to me about an abusive relationship, and what happened, they met this person online. And the person was, I would say, lure them in. And they lure them in with gifts and money. And just saying the right thing to them, I guess what they felt like this person wanted or was in need of to hear. And they did lure the person in, and the person said when they got there, they went to a whole nother state
Wow.
to live with this person. And when they got
So the person got them out of their comfort zone.
Right, and got them really basically on their territory. But when they got there, they were still very nice to them, and that was maybe for a couple weeks. But afterwards, she could no longer use the telephone. She could no longer make any contact with her family. She could no longer leave the house. She could no longer fix herself up and feel like a woman again. So she just became just a victim, like a slave, So, that's a whole different subject, this online dating. And,
You have to be so careful.
You have to be
Not
very
just about
careful.
online dating, but just dating in general. Any relationship you get in, you have to be so careful.
Yes.
Careful, because you do not know that person. Sometimes you can know somebody for a long time and still not really know them.
And not really know them. And people change.
They do.
And people,
Or they
people
just
change.
hide it.
Yes.
Really, really good.
Yes, and you're exactly right. So, again, we do want to reiterate this number because we do want you to get the help. The number is 1-800-799-7233. We want you all to get the help. You are tuned into Shop Talk, and we thank you so much for tuning in. And again, the help is out there. Get it. So you have a wonderful day. Love yourself, smile at yourself, and embrace yourself.
That's awesome.
Thank you again for tuning in to Shop Talk.